Welcome everyone. It's on the line. It's Tuesday, November 21st, and we're heading into the Thanksgiving weekend here. I'm Corey Mull here with Olivia Ekbene, fresh off NCAAs, regionals, California State Finals. A lot of stuff coming up. Busy weekend ahead of us with a lot more on tap. Footlocker regions, California State Championships at Woodward, and we got kind of our final regionals there at Northeast in New York. Today we're going to dive into some particulars, the California State meet, some food for thoughts heading into regionals, RunningLane, which is on December 2nd, and an early primer on the indoor season. I know you might be excited for that.
Oh, you know I'm pumped. I'm so excited for indoors. It's here. It is here.
Yeah, December marks the time for indoor for a lot of Northeastern programs and Southern programs too. If you listen to us regularly, we appreciate you immensely. If you can, please subscribe to Spotify and leave us a review. It would be great on our end too. So thank you. Let's go to the show. We're going to start first with the California State Championships, November 25th at Woodward Park in Fresno. Exciting stuff ahead. Final meet on the calendar in one of the biggest states for cross country. Yeah. And most important divisions typically are Division I, so let's start with Division I, Olivia.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this because just within the MileSplit 50 rankings, there are 4 teams from California, and 2 of them are in the Division I category. First and foremost, Buchanan. I feel like it's the most obvious program that everyone's like, Division I, Buchanan, it's just right there in the brain. They're the defending one champions, and what I'm looking forward to seeing is how they're ending their season right here at that state level. They've had some bumps, but they've also had some victories as well, so I can see them coming out really strong as they wrap up and finish their season at the state championships. And I'm also looking forward to Santiago Corona, led by Riley Blade, who's just been doing an extraordinary job this year. And what's interesting about them is they were 9th at states last year in 2022, and this year they're just looking super tremendous, and they've improved so much. And they kind of snuck in there into that MileSplit 50 ranking, kind of in that mid-pack essentially. So right now they just got to put everything together and put out a great performance.
We did get a comment on Twitter about Corona from Ryan Combe. He said, love the show. Hope to hear some love for Santiago Corona on the show this week after what they did at the Southern Section Finals. Yeah. And he's right.
Exactly, yeah.
In the merge at the finals, Santiago Corona actually was the strongest team, even stronger than Jay Serra, which was undefeated on the year and is considered the best team in California right now. Yeah. A little bit of an asterisk because it was a rain course at Mount Sac. A lot of rain came down into California, so they had to switch things, and it was mostly asphalt running for the team. So I think potentially there were probably a little bit of adjustments made for teams, measured races there, but that doesn't take away from Corona really, really impressing there at finals. And I agree, Buchanan, Corona, who wins?
I know. That's the scary thing.
It's Woodward Park, too.
I know. It's really tough because I feel like Buchanan has just had the history, but I think this is Corona's time. Like the way, like you mentioned with the merge, came out on top, beat Jay Serra in that merge, and Jay Serra is one of the top 5 programs in the country right now. That speaks volumes. I still feel like Buchanan has an opportunity to knock at that door, but I think this is also Corona's time.
For sure. On the boys' side, defending champions for D1 in the state, Great Oak. At finals, San Clemente, the defending runner-ups of D1, beat them 67-80. So that's an interesting little matchup internally as a head into the state championship. Was Great Oak just sort of getting a measured, run through Mount Sac to get to the state championships? Does that mean a lot? I think that's something we'll be watching at the state championships on the 25th. How will those two fare? Because it's going to be a battle. And I think when you look at the state championship, Woodward Park, it is a course that you can run well on. There are some places there where you really have to attack the downhills and really attack the uphills. But if you have a strong team, a lot of depth, I think you could put some strong moments there. And I think Great Oak, San Clemente on the boys side D1 is going to be what we're watching out for there.
Yeah.
let's go to other storylines beyond D1. What did you see?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, there are 4 teams in the MileSplit 50, all from California. Here come the next 2. We just talked about JSerra, defending champions at the Division 4 level. They look strong. They've been essentially undefeated up until, after the merge and everything, but they look like the program to beat. But also, we've been talking about Ventura quite often on our show, and rightfully so. I had a chance to listen to Sadie Englehart's interview after the CIF Southern section, and she mentioned the level of dedication went through the roof this year. And I think that's why we're seeing this huge shift when it comes to this program. And they have the same interests and the same goals. And I think once this program became aligned, we see what's going on in this program. They're like up there and moved up in some tiers, and it's Sadie Englehart and Ventura leading the pack, and so they're going to be in that Division 2 race. So I'm excited to see what they do this weekend.
It really will be tough because when you look at the girls' side, there's basically 4 teams that have, on paper, really strong opportunities to, obviously perform well at state, but then potentially get to NXN.
Correct.
JSerra, Buchanan, Corona, and Ventura. Only 2 get automatics. And in California, it used to just be the merge. If you're the top 2 teams in the merge, you are auto placed. But from what we've heard, there's a little subjectivity to it this year. And if you're that 4th team that you've run well on, if you finish 4th, do you get bumped in? There's 4 at-larges too. There's a lot to kind of piece together there, and it's not always clear.
Yeah.
But that's something to watch out for, I think, on the girls' side. On the boys' side, I think Dana Hill's strongest team in California right now, ranked 7 on the MileSplit 50, which released yesterday, and they've been incredible. They won at Clovis. They beat Great Oak there. They've been pretty much unblemished through the season. They have the D3 state championships up. Jaden Hernandez, Evan Noonan are 2 of the best runners on a team pretty much anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
So you can really, really rely on them, and I think they have a strong chance there. Then again, on the boys' side, Ventura, the boys on the other side, I think they have a strong opportunity too. They ran poorly at Clovis, finishing 6th there, but they've improved immensely. Since then, they've gotten healthy. They got 5 seniors, Olivia. These guys have been running since their freshman season. They are a band of brothers. I spoke to Anthony Fasthorse last week, and he really commented how they want to finish together.
Yeah.
Not just at states, but they do want to get to NXN, and this is really one last moment for them to put it all together.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, so...
Do you think that's more nerve-wracking knowing that, thinking about NXN perspective, typically you see programs go to states, and then you have that other opportunity at regionals, but here, it's kind of like one and done. It's like you have to perform well at your state championships to be able to have that opportunity to compete at NXN. Do you think it just makes it better in that instance when it comes to competition-wise?
It does, but there is a lot of pressure because Ventura is in D2. They're not going up against all these teams. They have Newbury Park's pretty much right there, maybe a top 4 team in D2.
Yeah.
But they have to run their best without knowing what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So you have to rely that your best effort on the day is going to be enough that gets you in. And that's not always the case.
Right.
So there's definitely a lot of stakes and pressure to it. I would be nervous.
Yeah, I'd be nervous.
Some people love that.
Yeah.
Some people like to race with that nervous energy, and it helps them. But we'll see. That's definitely one of the huge storylines there on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Individual races.
Ooh, yes. Oh, I'm pumped. I know I keep mentioning Sadie. Sadie's just such a talented individual, and rightfully so. And she won this title last year. 16:57. I feel like it's her opportunity to put something fast down if she's able to. And I know we're talking about the team race. She's probably also thinking that too, especially with the opportunity that if Ventura does make it, this is huge for her and the team to be able to compete at NXN. I know you mentioned Evan Noonan. I'm excited to see him. He's the defending Division 3 champion. I feel like he's been that top guy this year. And of course, with the victory at Woodbridge, 3rd at Clovis. He won the Southern section over the weekend. I feel like he's in tip-top shape. Jason Parr is another gentleman that comes into mind. He's been putting all the best performances at the right moment when it matters the most. And, of course, we mentioned Anthony Fasthorse. I feel like he's on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Lots of gentlemen looking to just run fast. And so it's going to be a great individual race.
I agree. for the boys, I think there's 3 spots that are pretty much locked in my mind. Fast Horse, Noonan, Emmanuel Perez of Cathedral and D4. I think those guys are far and away the best California runners right now. So that leaves 2 more automatic qualifiers for California, unless some of those guys get in for teams, which Noonan is more likely to get in, and maybe Fast Horse. Jaden Hernandez, already potentially in with Dana Hills, Jason Parra, as you mentioned, Josh Bell, Brett Ephraim, Max Zavaleta. There's a lot of guys that can kind of be in those last 2 spots, or 3, that really need to race well in their divisions to give themselves a shot. And then there's an added benefit of nationals this year where they're doing 5 at-larges across the country. So they're going to see, like, somebody has a bad race, they've had a great season, are we going to bump them in? That's an added advantage to nationals this year, too. So I think there's going to be a lot of competition on the guy side, and you just really have to race your best. D1, I think Riley Blade.
Yes.
Riley Blade, just awesome runner. D1, state caliber, going to potentially win a title for Corona. 5 wins on the season. She's only really lost to Sadie Engelhardt at Clovis, and was 4th at Woodbridge. So I like Riley Blade. Yeah,
me too. And just thinking about last year, she finished 3rd. So this is an opportunity for her to just get out there and get more experience.
Sure. Next up, middle schoolers.
Talk of the town.
Are running wild over the last few weeks, Olivia, and months. What's happening?
Goodness, I think it's just extraordinary. And I think about, I don't want to say it's a trend, but it kind of is. And I just think about last year with Sofia Rodriguez just doing extraordinary things, breaking world records left and right. And I think we're starting to see that passion build with these middle schoolers at this age, and they're just getting after it. And there's 2 individuals that really come into my mind. The most recent one, Gianna Rammer. I'm like, where did this girl come from? From El Dorado out in New Mexico, and she's run a 16:58 to win the New Mexico State Championships just earlier this month. And then over this weekend, she tops the Southwest Regional race and won the title in 17 flat. And she edged out athletes like Isabella Laurie, Addie Ritzenheim, Bethany Mahalik, Ella Hagen. Like, these are names that we're consistently talking about. And the fact that this young, talented individual just tops the competition as an 8th grader, which is super spectacular. And then another athlete that comes into mind is Annabella Tomasic, and she is from Florida. She goes to Lake Highland Prep, and a 7th grader at that, and just competed in 12 races this season. She's only lost 1 race, which happened to be her season debut, so she's been on this 11th winning streak going into the end of the season, and she's just been unstoppable. She racked up the Florida Middle School State Cross Country Championships and also won the 2A title this past weekend in 17:32, and her PR is 17:25. So she's been consistently right there. I think we're just seeing this, as I mentioned, because the passion of running is just forming at that young age, and these ladies and these gentlemen are also getting after it.
No sport on earth, other than maybe gymnastics or figure skating, can a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old come into a varsity race against 18-year-olds and throw down and beat them.
Yeah.
You think about it. So Raymer beat Notre Dame recruit Alori.
Yes.
Mahalik, NC State recruit.
Yeah.
You got all these big names. Ritzenheim was a national title contender. Beat her heads up.
Yeah.
This is an 8th grader.
I know.
Beating varsity runners at their own game. I think that is so incredible when you look at running and what is possible.
Yeah.
Raymer, to me, I don't know if she wins NXN, although I said that earlier last week. I think more likely is she goes top 10. Mm-hmm. She reminds me a lot of Grace Ping from 2016. Grace Ping came in 7th grade, 14th at NXN, 8th grade, 6th place at NXN. Really just came in and blew things out of the water. It's really exciting to see what's possible for her bid. I think, man, she saved it right for the right moment. Just one more name, we talked about her last week, Mason Fletcher of West Virginia, a little off the radar. She is going to RunningLane on December 2nd. She ran 14:40 for 4K at the Louisville XC Classic, and that puts her in the top 50 performances in the country this year, 4K or 2.5 miles. You know, it's the same distance essentially.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a 5K, so I don't think you see her kind of among the masses, but she is that talented. Curious if she's going to be able to break 17 minutes at John Hunt Park. I think she's potentially capable, and she could be much like Raymer there in that race. There's a lot of 8th graders that deserve some mention. We'll see what they can do as they finish out their seasons.
Yeah.
But those two on the girls' side, definitely those to watch. And
yeah, absolutely.
Quickly, Raymer
Yes.
at NXN.
Oh, man.
Top 10? Top 20? Where do you have her?
I really don't want to be too ambitious, but the way that she's performing right now, I can see her in that top 20. That's me being conservative.
Only top 20. Okay.
I'm being very conservative because I don't want to be like, woo, just throw her out there, you know? This is a big year, especially on the ladies' side. There's a lot of national contenders. I think she can be in the mix, though.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. We're going to give you one thing that we loved from the South, the Southeast, or the Southwest Regional this weekend. What do you have?
I'm sticking in the South. I think it was a really big weekend. First and foremost, Texas girls just dominated the top 6 spots, led by Elizabeth Leachman. Great field there. I think for me, like, what I really loved, we got to see our guy Adam Burleson kind of hit the cross-country course. I've been, like, waiting for this moment. The Oregon signee, he finished 2nd to automatically qualify for NXN. He set a 5K personal best too, Corey, which is insane. 14:54, and he's just been kind of underneath the radar a little bit. He's been playing football too. He's the kicker, and he was the runner-up at the Texas State Championships last year. So, really curious to see how Mr. Burleson does at NXN now.
I
qualified for it.
I agree. Played football this year in Lubbock or Amarillo, wherever he's from up there in West Texas.
Yeah.
Didn't run. So
literally season debut, kind of, in a way.
He did run an attached in a college race earlier this year. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. I love that. I'm going to go with the Southeast Regional. I really loved the Tatnall girls.
Our Tatnall girls. I'm a huge fan.
Smoking the competition at Wake Med on Sunday with 68 points. 17:53 average. They were 7 seconds faster than the second place team, 30 seconds faster than the third place team, Webb School of Knoxville, which was second in this regional last year. Winning average last year by Cuthbertson, 18:01. So this team was 8 seconds faster than last year's Cuthbertson team, which finished 8th at NXN. So Tatnall, we've been talking about them all season long. Where do they fit among the national elites at that biggest level, that highest level? I think you got to think they're a top 10 team going into nationals.
I like that.
At NXN.
I like that a lot.
And then one small sidebar here is Allie Zealand.
Yeah.
We saw her at NCAAs. She was watching at Charlottesville, the college kids go at it on Saturday. Less than 24 hours later, she was here. She ran 16:34, won the girls' race, and I love that because you're like, I love cross country so much. I'm gonna watch this big race.
It's home for her, so might as well pop on over to Charlottesville.
Well, Lynchburg, Charlottesville, it's a little bit of a drive, but yeah, good stuff there. Okay, I think these regions were massively talented. They're among the best in the country. Could we see athletes or teams from the Southwest, South, and Southeast become NXN champions? I
think that's a great question. My eyes immediately just gravitated toward the South and the Southwest regions. Big names. Elizabeth Leachman is just, I feel like we need to just have a segment on Elizabeth Leachman. What is she up to? And she's just been having like the season to remember. She's just been so dominant. And this weekend she destroyed the competition with the 16:07 performance like it was nothing. And just cruised on over. And like we saw her do a workout Wednesday one time. She did the Michigan?
Yeah.
And just, she looks strong, fit, and fast. That's essentially how you describe Elizabeth Leachman. Now, from the Southwest region, I feel like the obvious pick here is Daniel Simmons from American Fork. Just had an undefeated season so far. He's just been consistently getting faster and stronger. He posted a 14:41 at the NXR regional meet for season's best. This might be a hot take. I know we just talked about the young, talented individuals leading the way from Southwest, but I'm keeping Addison Ritzenheid on my radar still. Like, I still think she's a national title contender. She was 3rd at this race, and she claimed the Colorado 4A title just a few weeks ago with a 17:08 to break that meet record, this was the 3rd fastest performance ever ran on that course. And I feel like she's fit. She's ready to go. In my mindset, she's probably like, I'm going to let y'all go. Kind of not really be conservative, but make sure I'm in the mix.
Can I jump in there? Can I add something and maybe have a little convo on this? But I think with Niwot being possibly like a title contender on the team side,
yes,
it almost feels like Ritzenhein has to run a certain way. You obviously, if you want to win a race like this, you have to put yourself at risk, I think, a little bit, and you do have to make moves at a certain point that can either make it, or blow up. You can blow up.
Yeah.
And they can't. If they're going to win, they can't have her blow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think she has to run more measured than at Nationals to give her team a shot rather than go for a win?
That's a great question. I feel I kind of have mixed emotions about that question. I feel like she's probably going to attempt to try to like grab that victory, not to like be selfish, but to like let me set my team up to be successful. Let me grab that 1 point, right? And she has the opportunity to win it. So in the back of my head, I'm thinking, you might as well.
We saw it last year, the boys race.
Yeah.
Those Newberry Park guys went out. 2 of them blew up.
Very
They went out way too fast, and then they all came back. So there's history there that could happen.
That could happen, yeah.
So you're saying risk that?
I'm not saying go crazy and like just try to like drop the hammer the whole entire race.
You don't think Leachman and Forsyth are going to go mano-a-mano?
They're probably going to. Yes, absolutely. Forsyth and Leachman, I can see them like going crazy. But Ritzenheim, I feel like if she sticks with it, not like go crazy, but have them in have the ladies in her sight.
Yeah.
She can pick them off if she could.
Okay.
She's strong.
Yeah.
I do Leachman and Forsyth. I think
agree with that.
I
do agree with that. If you run a certain way, and
it's a strategy
you're making sure you're kind of more consistent, and those girls up front just don't have enough. Maybe you do take that last hill and you have it, and those 2 don't.
Yeah.
I will agree with you there. And then I think you had one more here too.
No, Daniel Simmons, we're good. Got him. I'm excited to see what he does. He remains undefeated, so Daniel Simmons. Those are my 3 picks. Leachman, Ritzenheim, Simmons are still for me national title contenders.
Yeah, I don't want to put it in stone either with Daniel Simmons, but I do believe he is your 2023 NXN champion until it's proven otherwise.
Yeah,
he's on the hill. You got to knock him off. He's been undefeated. He's run in Utah. He's run in conditions that serve him really, really well. Now, all that being said, I do believe Anthony Fasthorse is capable. Cameron Todd is capable. Drew Griffith, if he runs at Northeast, is capable. Evan Noonan, I think they could pick him off. But until it's proven otherwise, my guy is Daniel Simmons, and I think it's his race to win. And then on the girls' side there, too, I think we did hear from Ventura that Sadie is not running Footlocker. She's doing NXN. So she's in on this race. Where does she fit in when it comes to Leachman and Forsyth? Because she's the best that she's ever been right now, too.
Yeah.
What do you believe?
I think she's going to be in that mix for sure. She's definitely someone I never have counted out. We've seen her compete from the middle school level and still dominated all her competition there. I feel like NXN is just it's a really strong national championship so far from what we're seeing from all the regional meets. Sadie is going to be in the mix, and I also feel like she is a national title contender as well. Just like if she was to go to Footlocker, I'd be saying the same thing. And it's hard for someone to be like, yeah, you can do it at both nationals, and I think Sadie's the one, if she was able to, could be that one.
Yeah. The boys team race is the most competitive I think I've seen it in a long time. American Fork is the prohibitive favorite. They've just shot up to number 1 in the rankings after their Utah win, their Southwest win over Harriman. Harriman's not out of it yet. They were 3rd last year. They are running well still. They are the clear sort of top 3 team, I think, again. But South Lake Carroll is really, really good. CBA, really, really good. Bella and Jesuit. I think CBA and Carroll are more likely going to challenge Harriman and American Fork with their 3, 4, 5 runners, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
It might not come down to the 1s and the 2s of those teams. It's going to come down to the depth.
Yeah.
And how are you going to actually score at this race? I could reasonably see a point total maybe in the 80s here.
Okay.
If we got boys, kind of in that, like all boys in the 30 range or even in the 40s there, I think we could see, an 80-point, win here for the guys' side. And then on the girls' side, I think it's still up for grabs, honestly. I mean, Air Academy and I would obviously want to, but Flower Mound, Tatnall, I think there's possibilities there.
How do you feel about South Lake Carroll?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Second in 2 straight competitions here at State and South. I think Flower Mound has surpassed them at this point. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Do you agree?
I don't know. I feel like Flower Mound has definitely put it together toward the end of the season, which is great, and they've added Nicole Humphreys. She's running now, which is great. I don't know. It's national, so I don't know. Something in my gut just says South Lake Carroll.
Okay.
In that mix.
I think momentum is a huge boost.
Yes.
Toward the end of the season, you just start to feel it a little bit, and it builds, and then it helps you. It serves you in certain ways. I think that's one reason why I believe momentum serves you for the teams like American Fork.
Yeah.
Who have just been getting better and better and better. Mm-hmm. And same with South Lake Carroll's boys. I think momentum.
Oh, sorry, my brain was thinking girls in my head. South Lake Carroll girls.
Yeah, I'm talking about momentum is serving South Lake Carroll's boys.
I see.
And I don't think the girls on their end have that momentum necessarily, but Flower Mound does.
I see. I think how I view it is like just reflecting back on state championships, like had a minor hiccup, progress, qualify for NXN, great. Putting it together now at the big stage, the final dance.
Yeah.
I have faith in South Lake Carroll.
Okay. Okay. Well, they're there.
They're there.
They're going to have that shot.
Yes.
So let's move on to the RunningLane XC Championships, which will be live on MileSplit December 2nd at John Hunt Park. It's going to be very, very awesome race as usual. Let's talk about the teams. Mm-hmm. What are our top teams who we feel will have winning efforts here?
Yes. So for me, on the ladies' side, Bruins XC, which is also known as Brentwood High School in Tennessee. They're coming off of their state championships this year, and I think it's super spectacular because I feel like they're that team that's kind of been in that mix as well. They've had a 1906 team average at their Tennessee state championships, but the key for me is that 60-second split. And I think the quicker they can get those athletes cross that finish line, they're going to be in great standings. But another team that really comes to mind is Fossil XC, also known as Fossil Ridge, and they're from Colorado, and they finished as the runner-up to Air Academy at their state championships for the 5A classification, and they finished with an 18:59 average. And so I'm not going to count them out. I feel like they're in a great position to do something really spectacular at RunningLane. This is, as we all know, a very fast course. Colorado seems to perform very well here at these championships, so look out for Fossil Ridge.
Yeah, that's a good pick there. On the guys' side, I think there's a number of teams that average under 16 minutes. The fastest among them is Eagle Valley, coming in with 15:04. Orem, I think we've talked about him at length this year. I really do like Orem for this race. Heritage of Colorado, 15:28 average. Orem, 15:30 average, as I just said. Brownsburg distance, 15:49. Cheyenne Mountain, 15:28. Colorado, Utah, the teams that have dominated this race for really its entries every single year. It's going to come down to Colorado and Utah again. Cheyenne Mountain, if I had to be a little biased, I would kind of aim toward them because they've been here before. In 2021, they've run the second fastest on the course all time. So I think it's going to come down to Cheyenne Mountain and Orem. Aiden LaRue, really good young runner from Cheyenne Mountain, so I think that's probably a guy who's going to be one to look out for in the future.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to our early indoor track and field.
I'm excited.
Predictions, national indoor records, we talk about them every year. I'm going to ask for one national record here, but I think you have more than one.
Yes.
So
this was so hard for me to just pick one. I don't want to say the most obvious one, but I feel like I have great vibes when it comes to this, and it's the boys 400. Held by LZ Coleman from 2004, 45.92. And the guy that I think could potentially take this down is Quincy Wilson. The year that he had last year as a freshman, clocking 46.67 indoors, incredible, set all-time marks for the class. Quincy Wilson, I think, is the guy to do this. He's looked really strong. I'm just curious to see what he does. So that's my big pick here. My second pick that I'm like, next big thing that I think could happen is the girls 3K. Held by Alexa Imperson from 2014. She ran 9 flat. I have Ellie Shea down. Ellie Shea has been that girl, that gamer that we have seen over the last several years. She went 9:02 last year. So I feel like as she goes into the season, you know, she's going to debut a little bit later in cross country. This is normal. I'm excited to see what she can put out in this 3K. And then my final one, I feel like this is the one that I'm hoping for, just because these ladies return back this year, but it's the girls 200. You have a Deja Hodge who went 22:33 at New Balance National Indoors. I remember that race like it was yesterday. I could not believe what we witnessed in front of our eyes. But also Mia Bra-Pedersen had that record as well when she ran earlier in the year. So to think something faster in 22:33 right now is just mind-blowing to me, but both the talented individuals are back. So that would be my order of how strong I feel about these national records falling.
No. Yes. No.
What do you mean no, yes, no? Oh, you say no to the 4.
Yep.
Yes to the 3K.
Yep.
No to the 2?
Yes.
Interesting.
I think no right now for Quincy, because I don't think he's ready as a sophomore to break 46.
Interesting.
As a sophomore.
Yeah.
I do think he's capable, but not
down the
right
road?
now. Yeah, not right now as a
senior
sophomore.
Year?
Yeah. I don't think you want to push that either, too early, too soon.
Oh, very true.
So, I think he's obviously talented enough to get it at some point, but it's going to take him getting stronger.
Yeah.
And I think time is on your side.
Yeah.
Girls 200, no chance. No chance. No chance.
That's what I'm saying.
No chance.
22:33 is ridiculous. And I remember watching that with you, and I was like, did we just see this? 22:33? But I'm also very hopeful because the ladies are back. I'm being very hopeful, but 22:33 is ridiculous.
I don't think any way that goes down at all. 3K, I like it. The one thing I will say, as just sort of a point of an aside, essentially, Ellie Shea is going to have a little bit more speed to get that.
Yeah. She
And
definitely has
that's
the
my
strength.
biggest question mark, is if she has the speed to do it.
That's a great point. Because just reflecting on what she did last year, there were a lot of high school races that she competed in, and she just ran away with it. I wonder what would happen if she ran at was in a collegiate race.
Yes, if she goes to, she's so close to the Boston University.
Yeah.
I think
and
it's
just
that's why I think it
you in
can
there.
be done.
Yeah.
If you follow women as opposed to leading a whole high school national race, it's so much different.
Yeah,
so,
it really is.
So I'm going with the 800. I think the 800 is a reasonable record to go down. 147.67 by Josh Hoey. He ran that in 2018 at BU against men. He was second in that race. That came in February on the season, so it was at the late stages of the season. So, do we have the young men capable breaking it this year? That is an entirely different question. I think there are guys that can run under 148 this year, but do they run indoor? Tyler Matthews is from Arizona, typically doesn't. Patrick Hilby does, but will he get a big race to do it in? That's the question mark. Kai Ricks, probably not. He's from California. He doesn't run indoor. Those are the three guys that are probably most likely to run fast in the 800. I want this mark to go down.
I'm right there with you.
I think it's
I thought I was going to say.
I think it's a weak record.
I
think 147.6 is a weak record that can go down. So, but is it this year? I'm going to bet that it is this year. I'm just going to put my money on it, and I'm saying it is.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yes or no?
I have so many mixed emotions because, like, in my head, I'm like, okay, you have to be Cade Flat's, like, pure determination. But also, as you mentioned, I can see these individuals that you named, but they hardly ever run indoors. So, I'm going to say no. That's just how my brain is processing this right now.
That's totally fair. I think
I agree. Like, 147, y'all, we need to take this down. Like, 2024, we need this to drop.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, how did we do that?
Question for another day. How do we do that? Last segment on the show. Who's got the best indoor team in the country in 2024?
You can't look past Bullis. I feel like Bullis is just, for me, it's the obvious pick. They've showcased absolutely pure dominance over the last several years. They've been consistently putting out great group of individuals, girls and boys, especially on that relay. It's hard to do that, breaking national records left and right. You got Quincy on there. Like, the girls team, I feel like, is just going to keep rebuilding and looking stronger. So I'm putting Bullis specifically, like, sprint side. When it comes to, like, middle distance, I have to, like, my gut is, like, Union Catholic / Cuthbertson here. I feel like I'm just thinking about last year and, like, how they were just going for records and just pushing each other. I feel like, to me, they're quite even going into the indoor season. So Union Catholic, Cuthbertson are my other two picks.
Okay.
How about for you?
I did a team score at New Balance Nationals indoor, and on the boys' side, Montfort Academy scored 48 points. So they were far and away the best team indoors last year. The second place team, Seton Hall Prep out of New Jersey, 24 points. Surprising, I think, in a little way, in some ways, but they had a really good nationals performance. And then on the girls' side, I think I didn't do the team scores there, but I think looking at boys teams returning this year, I'm going with IMG Academy.
Ooh, that's an interesting pick there.
IMG has Dylan Woodruff, even Edwards Pla. They scored 12 points at New Balance Nationals indoor last year. You know, Bullis is good. They have Quincy. They have Terrence Mahomes. But it's really a matter of, like, relays. I think who do you take in the 4x4, the 4x2, and even 4x8. I think IMG has a little bit better distance.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Than Bullis, which is more so hurdles, sprints.
Yes.
So I'm taking IMG Academy
IMG.
there. Yeah.
Oh, nice pick there. IMG, okay. Crusaders, I see.
Girls side, I'm going Union Catholic.
Okay, fair.
They scored 19 points last year. They have a group of girls all back. ATL Zoom is not technically a high school, but they're very good. They have Skylar Cunningham, Aya Webb, Ava Kitchings back. So they're going to be a good program to watch out for indoor-outdoor. But, yeah, I'm going to Union Catholic.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree there.
Yeah.
Union Catholic has just been super strong.
They're an actual high school. They're an actual high school.
Actual high school,
They can recruit. They do take sort of individuals every year. It is a private school. There is tuition. There is sort of that sense of, like, they compete in the non-public league, so there is a little bit of advantage to going to Union Catholic.
Right.
But overall, great program.
Yes, I agree with you.
Alrighty. Well, what are you really excited for this weekend?
Ooh, Thanksgiving. Cannot wait. But also, I'm just looking forward to the California State Championships.
Yep.
That is, like, straight on my radar. Looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting meet for sure.
And it's 2 days after Thanksgiving. Oof.
Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
Always
That's so hard.
Always such a hard thing for runners. It's like you have this glorious holiday.
Yes.
You got turkey in front of you.
Pies.
All the fixins.
Whipped cream, the pies,
and
cherries.
You just have to be so steadfast.
Stuffing.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. But it's all worth it. If you win a title, you go into your last races of the year and you
just have leftover Sunday.
Do you take a medal or you take turkey? That's the question. I would take a medal if I'm in your position. So, hey, best of luck. California State Championships, regionals, everything on its way. We'll be back next week to talk more cross country and track and field. Thanks for watching.